how we have that for Tom Izzo, Coach Izzo in this program. It's as good of an atmosphere as you're going to get. I thought our guys handled it incredibly well for, being on the road with a top 10 team, and they have a great group, and they're tough and together. I think some of the experiences we've had, playing at Tennessee in the exhibition game, playing at Army, some of these other games, I thought that prepared us a little bit better. But credit our guys, because we took a lot of punches throughout the game, had to weather some foul trouble, had to weather some plays that, I didn't think were characteristic, and a lot of it goes to the credit of Michigan State and their defense. They have as good of a defense as anybody. And so, but at the end of the day, I just thought the will from our guys to make one or two more plays. Cam, Isaiah down the stretch. I thought Nick and Dame made some big-time plays throughout. And then Caleb, clutch shot. He hit on the wing, clutch finishes. I'm just really proud. This is a difficult place to play. And we'll, 10 games in, we get a little bit of a pause. We'll learn, grow, and see how we can continue to get better, because we don't want this to be, the peak of our season. We got a lot we want to play for still.
John,
yeah.
What was the key for Cameron in the second half, finding openings against it? Because they did such a good job sort of walling a lot of those.
Well, I think they had a great game plan, I thought, to begin with. They have size, and they were physical, and they did a great job protecting the paint. I thought we have to be better of just getting him touches early, because he just makes life easier, and we were a little bit sped up. The way they play can make you be sped up, and it turned out to be a game, I had to call more. I don't want to do that as much, but we had to this game, and just making sure we're getting our guys in the right spots. And then I thought Cam just willed some drives. They had some good wall-ups. He scored over the top. And then I thought the play he made, the pass to Caleb, a lot of guys get that stolen from him. I think Fears was right there, just how strong he is with the ball. There's a big-time heads-up play.
John, I'm wondering about after Scott hits those couple threes, you guys switched to the zone a little bit. What did that do? What did you see that doing to Michigan State shooters at that point?
Well, one, I think when Kohler hits 4 threes in the first half, it spooks you a little bit. That's not necessarily their strength of what they do. And so we had to adjust starting there. And then, obviously Scott gave him a big lift. I think it was a combination of just trying to keep everything in front of us, give him a different look, especially in the second half. And then we had foul trouble. So you're trying to make sure to protect those guys. Pat, Cam, and Malik all had fouls. So just trying to protect those guys as well. And then once we got some stops and did a pretty good job, we just kept it going.
Coach, you just mentioned the foul trouble that you had down low. What was your message kind of to those guys down the stretch as you tried to keep them in the game?
You can't play Michigan State worrying about fouls. I think that's you can't play where you're being soft. And so we didn't want any silly ones, like the reach-ins and all that, but for those guys, they still had to play. And that's part of our strength is we have 3, to me, Cam, Malik, and Pat, 3 of the best big guys in the country. Obviously Cam isn't a big with how he plays, but their size and the versatility we have. And so that's the first time we've had all of them in foul trouble. So we went small at one time. I didn't want to go small against these guys, but with Cam and Nick, you can do that. And you just have to continue to block out, be physical, and protect the basket.
First half, you mentioned Cam earlier, but I'm wondering if you got the sense that he wanted to maybe shake off that first half and start. I think he had 12 out of your first 14 in the second half. Did you get the sense that he wanted to sort of put that behind him, or?
For sure. I mean, there's no question. He's we challenge him and all that, but he's the hardest on himself. And part of it was we have to do a better job getting him touches, and then part of it is he has to find his impact on the game. And he still rebounded in the first half, but offensively he has to touch it, and we have to get good shots from it. And so down the stretch, we really did that.
John, obviously there's always a lot of talk about Cameron, and you mentioned Caleb and Isaiah late. But Nick in the first half, when you guys were kind of taking a lot of perimeter shots, and he made his, and then Darren Harris coming in,
yes,
sort of in a cameo role. Does it get overlooked sometimes when people look at Cameron's numbers, the depth that you guys have and have developed sometimes?
I think both things can be true. I think what Cam is doing is incredible, And I think we have great depth and different guys stepping up. And, Nick didn't even practice. In our last game, he sprained his ankle. He was in a lot of pain. So he's been living in the training room. Our medical team did an amazing job getting him back, ready to play today. And then, with the way they were playing us too, it seemed like they were willing to give that up. They weren't going to give, Cam just seeing, the wide open rim. And so that's important to have some guys that can knock down some shots. And Nick did that. Caleb, I still think our best shooting games are going to be ahead of us. I think once we start, there's 3 or 4 shots I think we can just, throughout the game, if we just have a little better shot selection, I think that percentage will go up.
Hey, John, over here. So when
Yeah.
their starting backcourt goes 0 for 15 from the floor,
Yeah.
is that them shooting? Is that your defense? Is that a combination of both? Or I guess how would you evaluate that?
Yeah, I mean, look, we can't take credit for them missing every shot. I mean, I thought our defense was good. We want to make life difficult for Fears as much as possible, not because of his scoring, but just because of how much he creates for them. But, he still had 13 assists. So his impact, his imprint on the game was there for sure. And, they've had different guys. That fifth spot has been a little bit, it's rotated for them a little bit. So even though Tang didn't score, he's dangerous. Scott came in and gave him that lift as well. So I think they have a team just like ours where different guys can come in and make an impact.
Coach, just taking this past week and a half and reflecting on it, 3 top 25 wins in 3 very different environments. What did you learn about your team in these 9 days, and how big of a week is a week like this come March for you guys?
Well, I think there's something to be said with figuring out a way to win. I think that really is a skill. And for our team, we're not playing a schedule where you're going to just get separation, and that's not the way it's going to be in March. ACC play. So for us, learning, especially down the stretch, we've done both. We've executed, which for a young team is important, and then we've had just the will just to get enough stops. And what an amazing experience for us these last 3 games. We're going to learn so much. I think our toughness will grow from it. I think for these guys, in each one, it's a neutral game, a home game, and a road game. And so it's scary going into it, but this is what we signed up for, and we felt like we could come out on the other side with some wins and really learning about ourselves.
Forgive me for the 2-part question, Coach. The first one being, what was the biggest, from what you know about Michigan State so far this year, coming in, what was the biggest points of emphasis for your team entering the game to be able to walk away with a win? And the second part being, is there a particular team within your own conference or that you're familiar with that they kind of remind you of?
I think Michigan State is unique with Coach Izzo. I think they have their own style, right? Because they have the combination of playing really fast. They hurt us in transition. I wasn't happy with that, but they're good at it. They do it all the time. They have 17 fast break points. So there's that. But then also the fact that they're a physical, bruising team. And, they had 13 offensive rebounds. I thought, overall we did a decent job. I'd have to go back and really watch. But those 2 things is unique. A lot of teams play fast. A lot of teams do that, but not a lot of teams play fast and have the physical presence of rebounding and attacking the paint.
You don't think of a program like yours needing a confidence boost, but how tough is it to win a game here, and the fact that you have? Does it give you the feeling that you can win a game anywhere?
I think it does, and I've never experienced 10 games. It's really 12 games in my mind, because we learned a lot playing UCF and Tennessee in the exhibition games. But those 12 games, 7 Power 4 schools, only one of the games was at home. The rest were neutral or on the road. Even though our program has had a lot of great success, every team is new. So I think when you go through this and you realize, no, okay, we can win, while also understanding, I don't think we've played our best yet. I really don't. And that's on me and our staff to continue to bring that out. But this is definitely going to be a great lesson and a great reference point to look back to as we go on in this year.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
time to do a press conference, to be honest with you, because my team has played their tail off for all 9 games, and I don't feel very good about what happened today. I didn't like the way we did some things that are staples of our program. We've gone a year. We keep track. We've gone a year without missing a free throw cutout. We had 4 of them today, and 1 led to a 3. 2 others led to baskets. So as good as Carson played, in some ways, had a career day, but there were coverages that we just didn't do, and those are effort-related and intelligence-related, not skill-related. And that stuff bothers me, so that means I didn't do a good enough job getting it through. I give Duke, before I go off on us, because I ain't happy about us, but I have a lot of respect for John and the job he's done, and it's why we can't beat him. He always has a superstar that he can go to, and he had 2 points the first half and 16 the second half, and including getting 3 of the 4 missed free throws, which is disgusting and ridiculous. And but his team, we thought it would be Boozer and Evans, and we said, and don't sleep on Foster. Since 2 years ago, he killed us by himself. And it was Boozer and Foster, and Evans made the big 3 and the 3-point, the foul shot that we had gone over and over and over and over, because that's how they beat Florida the other day. So that falls on me. Not doing a good enough job, because you can go over and over and over it, and if it doesn't get done, I got good kids. It's probably my fault. You have 5 turnovers in a game. They had 8. It was a game that was played very well in that respect. We got out-rebounded, which doesn't happen very often, by 1. 13 offensive boards. They had 10 offensive boards, 4 of them on a free throw cutout. Jeez. The way they started out the game, because we didn't guard our coverage right, they hit 4 threes right off the bat, ended up with 9. We had 8. We just couldn't make some shots, and I didn't think we did a good enough job, even though Jackson made some threes. It took him out of the paint, and we felt we could go inside on him instead of shooting fall-aways and go right at him. And so I got to do a better job of that. So I'll open up for questions, but I thought there were a couple of bad calls. The dunk, the travel, one is a 3, and one was critical play on Coop. I mean, that's not good either. So, but I think the respect I have for Duke, for John, for his program, for Boozer, how calm he was, didn't seem to bother him, that he didn't get any shots the first half. That tells you a lot about their program and about the players in that program. And so for that, I will learn from it, and hopefully if I get another chance, do a better job. Questions?
Tom, I'm wondering, after Jordan hits those 2 threes, they switched to a bit of a zone, and you guys struggled against that. I'm wondering, not just with that, that finish from the shooting standpoint, but also how Jackson obviously kind of precipitated that by hitting outside. He said they switched a little bit because of what he was doing.
Yeah, they went zone. They played this much of it all year. And give them credit. They went zone, and we didn't make plays. But I just did not think we did the things we'd worked on in a zone, and that's moving the ball, getting it inside and out. Like I said, if players don't do the things they don't do, it's got to be the coach's fault, because he didn't get it through to them. And so I'd take full responsibility for that. And I'll make damn sure that doesn't happen again, because we did not move the ball very well. We did not get the ball inside out. And more so than the missed shots. I mean, they missed a lot of shots too. They just missed some free throws and went and got it. And we had 13 offensive boards. I think what's going to bother me is I think there were a couple of key plays that ended up changing the game. We were 5 up, and and another thing, that's my fault. So let's put a list together, because I like when I get criticized a lot. I don't like when I do it myself, because that really bothers me. But we tried to play Cam, and the poor kid is, he's hardly practiced, and Boozer hit that one big three at the top of the key, and we just, he felt worse than I did. And we just felt like we had to give some guys a rest, and he probably wasn't ready, and so that's not his fault. That's ours. I believe in the kid. I think he's tough enough to get through it, but we made a couple of mistakes on that too.
Tom, over here on your left. You obviously talked about needing to get more out of the two guard basically all season. Today, you're starting backwards 0 for 15 from the floor. Is that just too much? Is that a lot just missing?
Well, Jeremy was
shots?
0 for 10, and to be honest with you, he missed 2 layups at the end. I thought Jeremy, to be honest with you, played really well. He was really well defensively. He missed some shots. He missed a couple open shots. I did not like the runners he took. I wish he would have just pulled up and shot them. But, he missed the 2 layups at the end. That didn't matter. So all of a sudden you go from 0 for 8 to 0 for 10. The other guys, I thought we had some good looks for Kerr early. Just missed them. There'll be some juggling. We'll have a quarterback controversy. Because what you do is you give people an opportunity and a chance, and yet sooner or later you got to step up. And I thought, in Jordan, he stepped up because he plays so hard. He was shooting the worst of all of them, but he just plays so hard, he gets things done. So who knows? But yeah, you can't win a game. We were in the game because our crowd was unbelievable. So for Megan, LaRonda, all of our people that did an incredible job, our students, place was special today. I don't know what it was like where you were from, but where I was from, it was special. And I greatly appreciate that. I wish we could have given them a win, but they did their job. That's why we were in the game, Our defense was pretty good, other than some coverages, mistakes. And our rebounding was pretty good, other than some critical ones in the second half when I think we got tired because Cam's a guy that's got to play 15, 18, 20 minutes a game, and we just couldn't do that. And, he missed a couple layups, and he's got a cast on his hands, so that's not his fault. It's just the way it worked today.
Tom, I think it was around the under 12, you were up 5 points, and then Boozer hits that layup and the 3. I think you mentioned that with Cam, but I'm wondering, is that the first time you've seen this group come out on the wrong end of those turning points this season? Because it feels like, for the most part, you've been coming out on the right side of those.
Well, we played the best team we've played, with the best player we've played, for sure. And a very good coach. Give him credit. He learned from the best. And so, there's been a lot of games that we played against Duke that we lost in the last 3 minutes. So somebody's doing a hell of a lot better job than I'm doing on that. But I don't think, I just didn't think we had it in that little stretch. And that stretch, when you're 5 up, if you get one more bucket, the crowd really gets into it. And they were tired too. I thought they were tired. And I thought we could have ran them more. We just had some strange lineups in there because of guys not playing as well. So we'll get better. We proved that we can play with anybody. I think that's, I think defensively can be an elite team. I think we showed that, Duke is really good. I told you guys about some of the other teams. I said, keep your eye on some teams that have had 1 million transfers and all that. Some it'll work for, some it won't work for. I watched some of the Gonzaga game last night, and it just, that's why I'm trying to keep my composure on where we are yet. I told you it'll be the middle of December. It'll still be the middle of December before I anoint anybody, to be very honest with you. But it was just a shame that we didn't find a way to get some little things done, but it was impressive the way they found a way to get the little things done.
Tom, I wanted to ask about late in the game there. Jeremy misses that floater in the paint, Boozer grabs it, and on the other end, they get the foul to hit the 3 free throws. What did you see in that moment with your team and the foul call?
Oh, the foul call was right then. There were a couple other ones that I thought were ridiculous. And I'm not blaming the officials, but ridiculous. Cooper's was ridiculous. The travel they hit a 3-on was ridiculous. But that's neither here nor there. It didn't cost us the game. It's ridiculous to let somebody go in there 3-4 times. Boozer is a man, you know, and he just he missed shots, and that's what we said. Sometimes his best shot is the missed shot because he goes from missing a short one to getting a rebound and laying it in, and he did that very well. The killer was the 3 he hit, and we just didn't guard it. You know, we were just, you know, I mean, like I said, Cam hasn't practiced much, and probably my fault on that. But we just gave him a shot. Now it was a NBA 3, but that's what great players do, and he did that. So give him credit.
Tom, I got 2 for you here. First of all, there's a difference between a discouraging loss and a frustrating loss, and I'm wondering where with this seemed more frustrating, and I'm wondering at what point you realized this. You just said we prove we can play with anybody. What point you trust that exists within this team, and does that change your expectations for them night in and night out the rest of the way?
What were the 2 words?
Frustrating and discouraging being different.
Is pissed off in there? No?
Can be.
Yeah, I'd go to that one first. I really mean that. Discouraging, because I didn't think we did the things. I had some key guys that didn't do things that they have done for 2 and 3 years. And I can't be discouraged about the missed shots because we're not a great shooting team. Now, I think we're a better shooting team than we shot. But, you know, we missed some layups. How many layups did we miss? When Jeremy got 2 at the end. Poor Cam had those 2 just little reverses, right? Coop, Cohen. God, guys, if you hit 5 of those layups, I mean, and I'm not saying they were all easy, but I'd say 4 of them you have to make if you're going to win those kind of games. They made some tough shots too. So I'm discouraged because I think our fans, you know, today was supposed to be a special day, and it was in every way except the win. And I think they deserve it. I thought our team needed to find a way to win a game like that to maybe figure out how good they are. I thought early we looked like a team that didn't feel good about us. That's what I was most disappointed about. But I'm encouraged because we're 8-1, played a monster schedule. We've overcome some average shooting. My point guard is getting better and better every day. You know, Coop had a monster game as far as a lot of those things. Jackson played pretty well. One of our freshmen really played better. I mean, I think we got a chance to be really good. Our margin for error, and this is what we've said all along, our margin for error is slim. So you can't miss free throw cutouts. And those of you that come once in a while and actually watch a practice instead of just sit up there and be on Twitter, we work on it a lot. And every game day, or the night before in this case, last night, practice ended, my staff said we forgot free throw cutouts because I usually do them day of again. So we stopped and we did it and talked about it. And that's unexcusable. I don't care if parents are mad at me. I don't care if media is mad at me. I don't care if my wife's mad at me. And the worst part is I'm mad at me because I didn't get that done, and it cost us. And, you know, give them credit, though. I sound like I'm not giving them credit. The job John's done, I'm in awe of. You know, most people don't want to follow a legend. He followed an icon, and he's done a hell of a job.
I asked you also about Jordan. Scott a little more. Just you talk about how hard he plays. I'm wondering what you're seeing beyond that that makes him sort of fit for the big moments to play down the stretch with the other main four and everything.
High basketball IQ. Very good shooter. Just hasn't shot well this year. Very good shooter. I told you he reminded me of Max Christie, who struggled his first year shooting the ball, but he's a really good shooter. But he's got length, and he understands, and if you tell him what to do, he does a damn good job of it. He just needs experience now, and he's getting it.
All right, we got three more. We'll go to Sean, Orrin, and Chris here.
Right here, Coach. You made some mentions of some things that obviously were a little bit disappointing and what have you, the free throw cutouts, things like that. What were some of the things that you saw that maybe went a little bit better than what you had probably anticipated or expected, kind of up to speed or beyond?
It's an illegal moment that the media is trying to tell me to find something good, so I appreciate it, but it's kind of illegal. You guys aren't allowed to do that. But I felt like we competed. We did not compete as intelligently, but we did compete. I felt like, we had our moments when we moved the ball offensively, got some lobs. We executed coming out of the second half. First couple of plays, we really executed well. I thought we did a great job of that. I mean, we went toe-to-toe with one of the top 2 or 3 best teams in the country. And I think they are because they just got a guy you can go to at any time. And, you can go to him at half court, top of the key, on the block. You can go to him to score it. You can go to him to pass it. I mean, he, to me, Doug Wojcik had the scout, and he said, what he was most impressed about Boozer was he's not going to beat himself. He's under such control, and he does such a good job. And, I enjoyed watching him as much as most people I've seen at Duke, and I've seen a lot of good ones. But just his whole demeanor, and maybe it's his bloodlines with his dad, and maybe it's John's doing a hell of a job, and maybe the kid is just a special player. But when he can beat you with the pass, the dribble, the rebound, and the three-point shot, there aren't many guys that we've ever played against. And, I mean, Coop, he had 2 points at halftime. Our defense did a damn good job. We really did. Our game plan was not to double because he's such a good passer. When we did a couple times, it cost us, but I thought we executed that really well. The second half, it was the missed free throws and the missed shots. I mean, he hits a 3. He's a good player. But the second shots are the ones you hope he doesn't get. So I thought we did a good job on him. I mean, he's, 6'8", 10 points below his average. But we didn't do those little things that everybody talks about that nobody sees that could have won us the game.
You mentioned about Jeremy's ascent as a point guard. There was a point where I think he had 11 assists real early and looked like he was in full control of the game. I'm wondering about when they did switch to a zone with a point guard, how does that affect the point guard at that point?
I don't think that affected Jeremy at all. I think Jeremy got a little tired. I had to play him to death. I think he got a little tired, to be honest with you. But listen, last year, everybody knows. And he didn't shoot it well, but he was so good at getting out of it. He was asking me questions and suggestions that worked, and he started to really see. So, guys play better than I give him credit. There'll be a couple of I give him credit. There'll be some things that look at me. There'll be some things that look at the official. We just don't have prayer. And so when those little things happen, we have to make sure that our margin of error isn't free throw. And we got to make our free throw. It's been shooting really well. Struggled from the line. It didn't take much to change that game, and Jeremy continue to get better. We're going to get better.
Coach, there was a split second
second half, Trey Fort got a rebound, started pushing it up court on the right side. Looked like he was trying to push the pace a little bit. I think he saw something on the left side. And then Jeremy Fears kind of got in his way. You ended up calling a timeout. What are your thoughts on that? What's the protocol? Should he have been allowed to initiate the offense, or should he be deferred to